Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks. My name's Tracy, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how I made this. It's a mosaic granny square but with a little bit of a difference to how it usually turns out. I discovered doing this, I was going to make a poncho, a black and white poncho, and I was playing with square ideas to do along the top edge, and I thought this one looked kind of funky. I did show some of my subscribers, and they asked me to do a tutorial. I've done it with this one, changing it around a little bit so that the colour is in the centre and not the black, and it looks kind of stunning, more like a stained glass window effect, I think. So I'm going to show you how to do this. It's actually quite simple, although the effects are quite stunning. Now I'm going to start with the black on this one. You don't have to, you can do it whichever way round you like, but the dominant colour will be this kind of centre, I guess, and I think it looks kind of nice in this multicoloured. I won't use the multicoloured yarn. This is Patterns, or Patons, I think they pronounce it. It's called I think it's called Fab DK, and DK is a 3-weight yarn, and that's what I've made this one with as well. Now this is just some black, I believe it was one that I got in Aldi when they had a pack, and this is just Yarn Fair Tootsie, which is a baby double knitting, which is a 3-weight across the pond. So I'm going to start with the black. For this you'll need a 4.5mm crochet hook. You can use a smaller hook if your yarn is quite fine. Some DK yarns, some 3-weights are finer than others, I find. So it really does depend, but I'm sure you'll be able to judge. I like a 4.5. I'm not really keen on going up to a 5, and I don't really like the tightness and lack of drape you get with the 4. You need a pair of scissors and a darning needle as well. Unfortunately, this does make rather a lot of ends, and I've sewn mine in already, but you will see as we make this just how many ends that this does make. And it's not very easy to weave them in as you go either. So unfortunately this project is one where you'd kind of do need to sew them in. So I think a beginner could tackle this. I'm going to stick my neck out and say that they could. There's nothing on there that's hard, really. It's just tricky, and once you've mastered it, then that's fine. So I'm going to make a slip knot, and I was always taught to do a slip knot by making a circle, then just putting my yarn behind and pulling it through. It's very, very simple. And just make it smaller and insert my hook, and I'll just make that regular size. Now we don't really need a long tail on this one, but if you've got one, that's no problem. Now we're going to chain 4, and chain is very simple. You just yarn over and pull it through the loop on your hook. Yarn over and pull it through. Yarn over and pull it through. Now I just want 4, so I'm going to do one more, and now I have 4 chain. I'm going to zoom in just to show you this, and now you're going to slip stitch into the very first chain that you've made, and you do that just by putting the hook in, yarning over and pulling it through both those loops on the hook, just like that. Now you've made this very, very tiny little circle. You can just about see the center of it there. It will get bigger as we work into it. So now I'm going to chain 2, which will get me up to the height of my stitch, and the stitch that I'm going to be using at the moment is a UK treble, which is a US double. So I'm going to now do one of those, and I'll show you how to do that. You yarn over, you go into the very center of that little loop we've made, yarn over and pull up a loop. So we have 3 on our hook. We're going to yarn over and pull it through 2, yarn over and pull it through 2. So we've done 1 UK treble or US double, and we have 2 chain that are classed as our first stitch. So we want one more, Again, yarn over into the center, yarn over and pull up that loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So we've got a little cluster of 3. I'm going to do 1 chain, and now I'm going to do another little cluster of 3. So I'm not going to show you how to do that again. If you want to check on how to do that, just rewind. But I'm going to do 3 more, all into that center of this circle. If I go ahead of you and you want to, just pause it and catch up. So now we have 2 sets of 3. It's very difficult to see with black yarn, but that is kind of how this works really. So we have to go with it. And we do 1 chain to separate, and we're going to do another cluster of 3. Exactly the same as before. So that's why I've zoomed in, so hopefully it's easier to see with this black yarn if I've zoomed in. As you can see, that center piece, that center circle, has got bigger by working into it. So we've got our first 3, 1 chain, another 3, 1 chain. Now we've done this 3, we're going to do 1 chain, and we're going to do 3 more. But we're not going to chain afterwards. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that was the only tail that you can successfully work over. Now, ordinarily I would do a chain, and a lot of times when people are showing you how to do a traditional granny square, I'll zoom out a little, they'll do a chain and then they'll slip stitch into this, the top chain of the first 2. There's the first one, there's the second one. But I'm not going to do that. I want this to look seamless. I prefer my squares to not have a seam, to have no slip stitch in to the right part or lumpy bumpy bits. I like them to be completely seam free. So it's hard to see it, but you can just about make out that there's 1 chain there, and that's our last one. So I'm going to do a UK half treble or a US half double into that top chain. So not this first one, but this second one. I'm just going to go straight in, and I'm not going to worry about going into any particular part. I'm just going to pull up my 3rd loop. So that's how we would start to do a UK half treble or a US half double, and it's exactly the same. You know, yarn over, in, yarn over, pull through, so you've got 3 on your hook. Now if you were going to continue to do a half treble or half double, you would yarn over and pull it through all 3, but I'm going to change colour, so I'm just going to put that down there for a second, and I'm just going to cut this off. Now I guess some people might just carry the yarn, but I don't want to do that. I don't want any little bits showing. And now I've got the white. I'm just going to find the end. Is that it? No? There we are. Okay, so I just need to pull some yarn out for a second. And hopefully the white will be a lot easier to see. So what we do now, we've cut, this is our, if I'm just going to cut off this tail that's in the centre, the one that we started with, because I've worked over that and I don't need it anymore and it's going to be confusing. So there we are. This is the tail I've just cut, the yarn that we were working with, and I'm going to hold that just like this behind. I'm going to hold on to it. I'm going to bring in my new colour and I'm going to yarn over. I'm still holding on to that at the back there. I'm going to bring in my new colour and pull my new colour all the way through, and I'm going to do 1 chain and cinch it right down. Now I'm going to turn this over and I'm just going to tie these 2 tails together. A lot of people don't bother, but I just pull that a little snug so that the stitches that I was working with are not baggy. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little knot to secure these, and I know some people don't bother doing that, but I've had seams that have come undone on me and things that have come undone, so I just make sure that that never happens again. But if you don't do that, then that's perfectly fine. Okay, so there we are. New colour is attached. I'm going to zoom out a little bit because I don't want to go off camera. Okay, so there are my two tails. Not really much I can do about those tails, unfortunately. So now we just need to see our spaces. There's our 3 and our space. There's our 3. And so this here is the space. So I'm going to insert my hook and pull up a loop. Got 2 on my hook. And I'm going to do my chain with my 2. See how there's my the one that I started with, and I've just pulled it through. So my first chain is through 2, and my second chain to get me up to the height. And now I'm going to do 2 more trebles, just like I did here, into that same space between my 3. So there's my first and my second. Now we can't work over these tails anymore, so I'm just going to put them aside. Now this is going to be half of a corner, and I'm not going to carry on at the moment because I want to come back all the way around and finish. That's what makes it seamless. So I'm going to now skip to my next. There's my 3. It's hard to see them because they're black, and there is our space. I'm going to do 3 in there. Just the same treble crochet UK, double crochet US that we've been doing all this time. But now we're going to make a corner. So we're going to chain 1 and do another 3 in that same space. And that will turn our circle into a square because it will give us corners. Just like that. So now we're going to go to the next space. There's our 3, is our space, and we're going to do the same thing in there. We're going to do 3 and then we're going to do 1 chain and another 3. And like I said, if I go too fast, just pause it and catch up with me. And now you can see how that's going to become a square. Now we go past those 3 into the next space and do another corner. This round is all making corners. But as it grows, you start to have corners and sides, just like a conventional granny square. So I'm doing my last 3 in this corner. Caught a bit of the black there. So now we have to make the other half of this corner. So there's our space. I'm going to do my 3 stitches, just the same as before. And just as we did last time, I'm going to find the top chain, which is here. There's our first stitch, our second stitch, and this here, there's the first chain, there is the second. I'm going to do another half treble, or I'm going to actually just do half of it, and then I'm going to cut off this yarn and bring back the black yarn somewhere around here. I just need to find it. Just going to pause the video while I swap the yarn over. So just as before, we hold on to this. Now it will get confusing because of all these other tails, but I can't really cut them off. So I'm just going to bring that new colour in, and I'm going to hold on to that one so it doesn't get all baggy. Bring my new colour through, 1 chain and cinch it right down. And now get these 2 tails, not to confuse them with the other 2. They're the ones that just come out of the work that you're doing. And I'm going to knot those just as I did before. Again, you can change your colour however you normally do. That's no problem at all. So here we are again. And now this is where it gets interesting. So here's our corner that we have done half and half of. And this is our space. So again, we're going to just insert the hook, because if we don't, we get like a little line going across showing a different colour, and it's not quite even. As you can see, you don't get that at all. You can't see that. But if I didn't do that, then you would get a little telltale line where you've changed colour. So I'm just going to insert, move those tails out the way, and bring up the yarn. So I've got 2 on my hook, and I'm going to do my first chain and my second chain, so I'm up to the right height. Now I'm going to do my half a corner by completing my other 2 stitches. The 2 chain is my first, and I'm going to do 2 more just as we have the previous 2 rounds. So that's my half a corner. I'm just going to move those tails out the way, and now we're going to do something a little bit different, and we're going to do 1 treble crochet, which is a UK obviously, and a US double. And now we're going to do something different. We're going to do what's called a UK double treble, or in the US a treble crochet, which is where our terminologies get confusing. But we do that by yarning around twice. Now we're going to look to our bottom row, and we've got 3 stitches. There's our first, there's our second, and there's our third. And it is very difficult to see, I know, but we're going to go in between the first and second. So we're going to go completely around the middle stitch, and we're going to yarn over and pull it up. So this is how it now looks. I'll show you that again, because I didn't want to confuse you, but it's very difficult. If I can try and get some more light. Very difficult to see black, but there are 3 stitches. We're going to yarn over twice, and we're going to go into that middle stitch, the post, not the actual stitch. We're going to go completely around the post of the stitch, and we're going to yarn over and pull it through and pull it up. We need to pull it up because it's going to be a very elongated stitch. It doesn't matter if it's long. So we're going to go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, and go through 2. So it's gone all the way to the bottom row, and it is now a very tall stitch. So that's the first treble. The second one is a double treble, and then if we pull it aside, the third one is just a normal treble, as it would be in any corner. Now that is the most tricky thing that we're going to do, and I know it looks odd, it looks tricky, but you know, it's not really once you get used to it. So now we're at a corner. We're going to do our corner exactly the same way as we have at every other corner. We're going to do 3, 1 chain, and then another 3. Don't worry, I will show you again. You will get this. So I've completed the corner. Let's pull some more yarn out. If I can get hold of it. I'm wearing black and the yarn is black, so I can't really see it. So here we go again. We do 1. This is our side. I'm going to do 1 normal stitch. We're going to yarn over twice. We're going to drop to the one below, and you can just about see, if I part them, you can see where my finger is. We're going to go in and out. So we're going completely through the post of the stitch, yarn over and pull it up. So we're going to yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So we have our normal stitch, our long stitch. We're going to do 1 more normal stitch right next to it in that same space. Now you can see it's taking that shape. And now we're going to do a completely normal corner. Again, if I go ahead, by all means just pause it and wait for me, catch up with me. I try to explain it simply so that a beginner can do it, but I don't want to make everybody else be waiting. So it's a bit trying to please both. So now we're back at the side. Again, 1 normal UK treble or US double. And now we're going to do our double treble UK, which is a treble crochet in the US. And you can see there the stitch we're going to go around. We're going to insert it one side come up the other, yarn over, pull it up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So there's our normal stitch, our long one. We're going to do our last normal stitch and then a corner. It looks very effective in, I've lost my, just need to pull out some yarn, sorry. It looks very effective in black and white. It really lends itself, I think, to do like monochrome. So here we go. Sorry, and I loop my yarn around a cat's tail. Not a real cat. I'll show you. This is an essential piece of equipment for Crochet Rocks. It keeps the yarn from going across the table. So yeah, see, I'll show you my technical equipment. Make use of everything. Just saw that cat's tail sticking up there and I thought, I've got a use for that. Okay, so doing my very last full corner, and we've got the last side. So once more, normal stitch. See, it's taken shape now. Round twice. And there's our stitch there. We're going to go in, around the back and through it. I'm going to yarn over and pull it up. Yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2 and pull through 2. And it's important that you do pull it up, because otherwise what you get, and you can see a little bit of a bow, but if you don't pull up, that will start to dip in the center. So it's important that you do pull it up. I know you think it's a longer stitch anyway, so it should be fine, but if you don't pull it up, it will start to sag there. So that's it, that's our last one. So I'm going to complete my corner with my 3 stitches. And then I'm going to do as if I'm doing a half treble into that top of, there's my first chain and there's my second. I'm just going to go in there. I've only gone through 1 loop and pull up my loop, and again change the colour. Move the black out of the way and bring in the white. Just pulling out some yarn, looping it around the pussycat, and I'm going to hold on again to this while I bring in my new colour. So I'm holding it there so it's nice and taut. Bring that through 1 chain and cinch it down. You have to cinch it down, otherwise it bulks a little bit and it looks a bit odd. So I'm just going to find my tail, which is here. You can see because these are just the ones previous, but this one's coming out of here. So you want to make sure that you don't have any baggy stitches by giving it a little tug, not too tight, otherwise it distorts. But we're just going to tie that. You don't have to, as I say, some people tell me off for that. But I've had problems and I don't really want them again. Okay, so harder to see on the black, I know, but there it is. There's the centre, 3 stitches either side. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to yarn over and pull up my loop. And just now do 2 chain, and we're going to do the other 2 stitches to complete our corner for the other 2 stitches. There we are. It's hard not to grab other bits of yarn. Okay, so pull those aside. Try not to get confused by them. So these are now our sides, and each time we go round it will grow because the sides will increase. So now we're going to do our first stitch as normal. Going to yarn over twice. We're going to drop to this row below, and you can easily see the 3 stitches now because they're white. So we're going to go in between that middle one. The tail's got in the way. I want to bring the tail up as well because it's black. Yarn over and pull it up, and then we're going to go through 2, through 2 and through 2, and then we're going to finish off with our 3rd stitch, and we're going to do the same in this space. You see it's taking shape now. Yarn over twice, and there's our middle stitch. We're going to go in, around, much easier to see on the white round, pull it up, through 2, through 2, and through 2, and complete our third stitch. So, oops, didn't quite complete it. And you can see it's really taking shape now. So we're going to make another corner. This one will be a full corner. One chain. And the rest of our corner stitches. And now we're going to do our second side. Just the same as the first one. So it's here and here. And so we're yarning over twice, going to the bottom to the white row below. We're going around that middle stitch, and we're going to pull up the yarn, and we're going to go through 2, 2 and 2. And we're just going to do that all the way around, doing our 3s in the sides with our drop stitch in the middle, and then our 3 1 chain and 3 in the corner, and we're going to do that all the way around. So I'm going to pause the video now. Now I've shown you quite a few times. I'm sure you'll be fine. If not, just rewind it and catch up. And I'm going to do a full corner, my 2 sides, a full corner, my 2 sides, and I'll catch up with you when we get back to finish our second half of this corner. Okay, so I'm all the way back to the start. I'm going to finish off my last part of the corner. And I'm going to join to the top of my stitch there. And so that's what I normally do, go through 2. So I've gone through the whole V. It's not so easy to see it on the black. So I'm going to leave my 3 on the hook as usual. Cut off this yarn. Bring in the black yarn. It's just using 2 colours, it just happened that it looked this way, and I really liked it. So I'm going to just hold on as I did before, bring in my new colour, and just carry on in this way. So I just think this would make a really nice cushion cover, or if you were doing a square lap gown, would look really cool. Or just making squares like it. They're pretty, but I just thought it'd be nice effective sort of cushion or lap gown. But this was going to be, or still will be, when I make my poncho, a couple of the squares that I'm going to do. But I don't know when I'll get round to starting that. So now I'm going to carry on exactly the same as before. Half a corner, and now I have 3 sides, or 3 in the side, should I say, there, there and there. So it will grow by 1 every round on every side, and the corners will be as normal. So that's it basically. You just keep going until you've made it as big as you want it to be, but it is exactly the same. I'll do one more round with you. We'll just go in this one. It's harder for you to see the black, but there's the 3. I don't know if you can see that. We're going to do go around the center one, just the same, and pull up, just keep going exactly the same as before. And this time we've got that one as well, the 3rd space. But the difference being with this one, the center one is already raised because you've already pulled it up before from before, so it's easier to spot which is the center one. Still pull up and do it exactly the same way, but it is easier to spot because it's one you've already done before, so when you look at it you can see them. When you do it you'll see what I mean, but you know, because it's already been one that you've gone at. See, this one you haven't been round before, it's the first time, but that middle one, it's already been a raised stitch or an elongated stitch, and each round you get more of those, and it kind of twists as it goes around, which looks kind of cute, I think. Quite effective. So this is just the normal corner. And then we're back on the side, and I'll show you again. This side is one that's not been done before, so you just going into the center of the black row below, pull up, and our third stitch. Let's pull some yarn out. Now this is the one where it's been elongated before, so it's nice and easy to spot which one it is that we go round. You can see it there in the center. It's a bit difficult, I know, because it's black, but you can just easily see that. Pull it up, and then our third one, the last along this side. And then back to a corner. So once again, I'm going to pause the video and I will go all the way around doing my 3 lots along this side and my corners, and I shall pick up with you when we get back to the start. Okay, so I'm right back at the start again. Finish that corner. Now if this was the last row, if this was the size of the squares that I wanted to make, obviously it's not. With this one I've done another couple of rows, and I also went round the whole edge with treble crochets in each stitch. So, and in the corner I did 3 1 chain and 3. That was because it was, as I say, it was going to be for a poncho that I was making. But you don't have to do that. I haven't done it on this one. I've just carried on and then ended off on a coloured row. But you can carry on and just, as I say, make this into a lapgan. But I think it looks really stunning in these colours. I didn't show you with this because the black row is hard to see. But when it's yarn like this, it is very difficult to see. So at least with the white yarn, you had chance to see. So if this was indeed the last row, instead of doing the half treble into that corner, I would just do 1 chain and slip stitch into that top chain like this, cut my yarn, and then end off in the normal way by doing 1 chain, cinching it down and pulling it through. And that way each corner has 1 chain, so it is exactly the same. The distance between it is exactly the same. It's only on the last row that I would do that. That way you cannot see this. Obviously this is the corner where all the joins are, but it doesn't look any different to any of the other corners. You can't see any telltale signs of yarn changing colour, of anything. It looks identical, which is what I wanted. So now the only problem being all of these ends. If you're like me and you hate sewing in the ends, it's something to do as you go, I think. You know, if you're going to be making a nice big lapgan, I don't think I'd want to save them till the end because I'm not a fan of that. But I forgive it because it looks so stunning. But so thank you for watching. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and you'll be informed when there are new videos. Thank you for watching, and until next time, bye bye for now.